Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and the new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, once again, we are here this evening to discuss on what is happening in Nigeria and what is trending, because the DSS has reduced Nigerians to something else. Whether they are doing their job or they are victimizing Nigerians, we are yet to find out. But what is coming out from the NLC at this very hour after their closed door meeting is the NLC has declared a total highest alert of protest in Nigeria. Yes, the NLC, as we know, the NLC president, Ajaero, was arrested, seized, whisked away by the agents of the Nigerian state while on his way to United Kingdom on invitation of the Trade Union Congress of Britain. Comrade Joe Ajaero was set to attend this to address the global gathering of workers on behalf of Nigerian workers at the Congress of the Trade Union Congress in the UK, a platform where critical discussions on workers' rights, social justice, and economic fairness are discussed. And according to information coming out from the press release, and I will quote them from the NLC, they say, "We are yet to ascertain his whereabouts or his state of health, as all efforts we have made to get in touch with Joe Ajaero have proved abortive. We wish to categorically state that Comrade Joe Ajaero has been detained without any legal warrant or formal instrument. Joe Ajaero is not a fugitive." I'll continue to quote the press release of the NLC. They said his detention is therefore a brazen act of lawlessness and intimidation, as he has not been declared wanted by any law enforcement body. His detention is a brazen act of intimidation and completely unjustified under the laws of our nation. The mere contemplation of not just stopping a lawful citizen from traveling but also sequestering his freedom is an affront to our democratic and natural rights as a people and as workers. This is an unmistakable demonstration of the height of lawlessness being perpetuated by the Nigerian government and its agencies in their bid to silence voice of dissent and opposition in the country, as the economic policies of the government continues to affect the people with monumental suffering and hardship. Such actions are not only undemocratic but immoral, as well as direct affront to the fundamental rights of citizens and organizations to lawfully express their views and carry out their activities. In light of this troubling development, the Congress puts all its affiliates and their state councils, civil society allies, and all patriotic Nigerians on the highest state of alert. Yes, that is where it's coming from. The highest state of alert. The Congress will not stand idly by while the rights of the leaders and members are trampled upon. Accordingly, we demand for the immediate and unconditional release of Comrade Joe Ajaero. Furthermore, we call on the international community, human rights organizations, and all advocates of democracy to take note of this rising wave authoritarian in Nigeria. The world must bear witness to these assaults on human dignity, civil liberty, and the rule of law. The NLC remains resolute in its commitment to protecting workers' rights and will not be cowed by the oppressive tactics of the state. Once again, we demand the immediate and unconditional release of Comrade Joe Ajaero and the cessation of all forms of harassment against labor leaders and the Nigerian working class, including innocent citizens who hold dissenting opinions. We equally demand that the state frees all Nigeria languishing in various prisons around the country. for exercising their democratic rights to protest in the End Bad Governance rallies across the country. Let me end it there. I think I like that very last phrase where they said they call for the release of all the End Bad Governance protests. And if they should come out to say that once again, we will continue to support the NLC, because it's now they are coming back to note that the End Bad Governance protest is to help Nigerians come out from this very hardship that is led by the Tinubu's administration. With me to have these very discussions, I have very active Nigerians who are joining me by Zoom to have these very discussions. But before we start, I want to give you some of the reactions of the people who are talking about just one reaction so we doesn't kill time. We have several people, especially, let's take the one of Fisayo Soyombo, who has said that the DSS has reduced themselves to something else. Okay, this is Fisayo Soyombo reaction. He said, hardship protests by Nigerians, DSS intervention is arrest. Journalists will expose on unregistered sachet water factory in Sokoto, DSS intervention, arrest. Not just an arrest of journalists and not the factory owner. Now, NLC's planned anti-petrol price hike protest. DSS intervention is arrest of NLC President Ajaero. Now, we have another one happening today in Abuja. Serap's anti-petrol price hike statement. DSS intervention. Occupy their office. That is what is happening today. The ongoing cheapening of Nigerian state security is sickening. Almost incomprehensible. Soon, Nigerians will start, according to the DSS, the respect they serve the IMF, that is the NSCDC. Well, he said in quote, Mr. President, my neighbor just stole my goat. Can you please send 5 DSS officials? So let's start this very discussion with Mr. Bassi, whom of course had this earlier discussion with me before the NLC's press release. So, well, beg your pardon. Today we are having a discussion about this very arrest of Ajaero, the NLC. But judging from what is coming out from Nigerians, what is your thought? They are talking about anything whistle is DSS. Even this issue, reports coming out suggest that there was a petition by a disgruntled member of the NLC to the DSS that prompted this arrest. So, is what the reaction of Fisayo now vis-a-vis other reactions of Nigerians that DSS is now being used to trash issues between husband and wife? What is your take on this before we go on, Mr. Bassi? Mr. Bassi.
Good evening, Mr. Kanu. Thanks for having me. Good evening, my fellow panelists. Good day, Obidient, and listeners across the globe, wherever you are listening from. The action of the DSS is worrisome. Why is it worrisome? In the sense that this is an agency who is supposed to be an intelligence agency that is supposed to help in gathering intelligence to cope some of the security challenges that we are having in the country, but have reduced themselves into doing work that is not outside their scope of operation. It's actually worrisome, and every concerned Nigeria should, every reasonable Nigeria should have concern, because at a point where we are having high insecurity issues in the country, across the country, from the north to south, east to west, we are having various security issues going on everywhere in the country. And it therefore shows that because of their lack of focus on their core responsibility and duties, and that has given room to a lot of lapses in the intelligence community. And this is the reason why the bandits are running riot everywhere. You can imagine when bandits will be brandishing the money, their loot, the ransom on TikTok. Cannot do anything about that. They are supposed to be a secret police that are going around, gathering intelligence, so to ensure that the nation is safe, security-wise. But here they are, when a husband and wife have quarrel, DSS will go in. Like you rightly said, somebody said, journalist reported an issue, DSS will go and pick the journalist. This is worrisome. And we see Boko Haram raining terror on Nigerians. Yet, DSS are not able to do anything about it. But they can go about picking protesters here and there, going to Ajaero, getting information that Ajaero is traveling. I mean, they are quick in getting some of those information. How come they don't even get information about the activities of the bandit, the terrorists? How come they don't get those kind of intelligence about it? So it's worrisome, and it shows that it's actually showing a collapse of the intelligence agency. And that's why you also will realize that the other global communities don't take them serious when it comes to issue of intelligence. They don't even share such intelligence with them because they don't trust them. They don't even trust them how they can, keep those information secret or confidential. So it's worrisome, and I hope the new man will not start on a very bad note. He should rein his people in and begin to focus on the core responsibility of DSS, so that we can nip some of these security challenges that is bedeviling this country in the bud. So I will call on them to please let them not focus on ephemeral things, issues that really don't concern them. They should concern themselves to their core responsibilities and ensure that they give us accurate security and accurate intelligence that they can share with the other military agencies, so that some of these security challenges that we have can be brought to a stop. Thank you.
Okay, that is on the issue of reactions of DSS. Coming to the reaction of Nigerians right now, we have different Nigerians with different reactions. Some are saying NLC should shut down the economy. Some are saying they should go into protest due to the people who are being held captive in different prisons due to the end bad governance protest. And we have the likes of Sowore, who clearly says that why they're asking basically a question to the NLC: why haven't you shut down Nigeria over persistent harassment of labor leader? Do you think that Sowore meant well by asking the NLC to shut down Nigeria in form of a protest, or you think he's just doing this because of his personal purposes?
Well, I think I will take it in a twofold. Maybe it's just making mockery of NLC, because you realize that before now, Nigerians have lost confidence and trust, because over time they had become an arm of the executive. So they were not really representing the populace, the Nigerian workers. So now, if they have thought it wise to redeem themselves, it would be commendable. And I would also say that let's give them a chance and see how they can redeem themselves. And because whatever has happened, they are supposed to be the lead organization when it comes to the issue of protesting bad policies of government. They are supposed to be the ones to lead other civil society groups who will come out, and then the citizen. But over time, you have seen them taking a backseat. But rather than doing their court, taking their responsibility, they will be giving the government of the day three boza. And today we've seen where that boza have led us to. And if they have chosen to redeem themselves and win back the confidence of Nigerians, it is yet to be seen though. Let us give them that chance and see how they can prove themselves. Then Nigerians, of course, will always rally around them and protest in a more civic and civil manner, such that we'll bring back some of this, bring government to drop some of these their negative policies against the country, against the populace. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. All right. Earlier in the day, we were talking about the discussion that Chief Bola Tinubu had with Nigerians in Chinese when he was over there. If he's still there, I wouldn't know, but I do know that he had discussions with Nigerians, and he told them that the hardship that Nigerians are feeling right now is necessary for them to have this hardship so that they can enjoy later. But it seems that the opposite is the reaction, because we sense that Chief Bola Tinubu is enjoying in different aspects of the economy right now, both in his personal business and also in his executive capacity in exercising reckless expenses that we have been seeing of late. So, but like I said, let's first listen to Chief Bola Tinubu, how he emphasized that the hardship Nigerians are needed, that he is the person who is bold enough to inflict such hardship to bring about a better Nigerian. Before we get into the discussion of whether this will make Nigeria a better one or the hardship is biting, but let's take a listen to him.
The country is going through a very strong phase of reform. And this reform is taking a very bold and hard decision. For example, you might be hearing from whom now in the last few days about fuel prices. But can we help it? Can we develop? You use their good roads there.
So I need to cut this off short so that we'll not elongate it. So you've heard from Chief Bola Tinubu that is a bold step for Nigerians, especially the fuel increase. So obviously, like we had always said, Chief Bola Tinubu is aware of this very fuel increase, while NMPC was saying that they are not aware of the increase and all of that. But finally, they all admitted that they are aware of this hardship. But he said it's a bold step by him to increase the fuel pump price and also inflicting hardship, more hardship on Nigerians. What are your thoughts on this very quickly?
This government capacity to implement the things that they say. He wants to emulate China. Let him go back and check what China did. How did the leaders of China went about their own economic recovery? It's not just about coming to tell Nigerians, I want to do this, you want to do that. Every nation who went through what we are going through Their leaders make sacrifice to be able to come out of it. But what are we seeing in our own case? Our leaders are not making sacrifice. They are living in affluence. They are living in to tie their belts, to exercise patience. You can't come out of economic woes by being extravagant. That it requires prudency, it requires probity in your expenditure. So if you cannot do that, you can't come out of it. So let him stop telling us stories and let him act what he's saying. When we begin to see him doing what he says, then we'll know that, yeah, we are heading towards the right direction. But it's not just about coming to tell us stories. We've been hearing stories right from Buhari. We are hearing stories now. How long are we going to be are we going to put up with all these stories? So let them stop telling Nigerian stories. Let them begin to act what they say, and then we'll believe that, okay, we are heading in the right trajectory. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's get the opinion of Lord K in this. But before we take the opinion of Lord K in Tinubu, very proud of his job of inflicting hardship on Nigeria by increasing the fuel pump price. I guess he doesn't know how this trickles down to the common man in the streets and how much more the Nigerians are suffering. But let's take a quick reaction from people, even on mainstream media, who are reacting to this very Tinubu's issue and all of that. Before we come back, Lord K, let's take a listen to this reaction. Then when I come back, I want to hear your take on that.
I think first of all, we need to identify that Nigeria belongs to us, and Nigeria is not run by the government of Nigeria and not by IMF. So I think the high time we note that and run our economy the way it ought to be run for the benefit of Nigerians, the better for us. So a population where you have over 60% of the population living below the poverty line, it then tells you that whatever you do, majority has to be for majority of the population, which is those living below the poverty line. When you have 133 million Nigerians living in multidimensional poverty, it clearly states that. Now, there are fundamentals. There's what you call energy security. So energy security, where fuel or PMS falls into, is a fundamental in running the economy of the country. I'll give you a clear economic analysis. So petrol, what we call PMS, is an inelastic product or good. And what that simply means is that it is not a luxury good. It's not a good that when you increase the price, people would find easy alternative. So it is something that is necessity. It is something that drives the economy. If you increase the price of car importation, people will find alternative. If you increase the price of alcohol, people would, of course, stop drinking. If you increase the price of tobacco, people will find alternative. But people must move around. The way civilization is, people must transport. People must go to work. Yes, we know about virtual working, but people will go to work. People will go to school. People will move around. So it is something that drives the economy. We do not yet have alternative. So we don't have a functional train system. We don't have an alternative to PMS. So the CNG gases is just 0.001%. So clearly that is not an alternative. So being an inelastic product, whatever you do to it has a spiral effect across all the economy, and that is what we have seen. So when President Tinubu came into power, we got fuel from 185 and currently at 900 or 890 or close to 900. That is close to 400% increase. 400% increase within 1 year. So that kind of increase, it will bring shock to the economy. It will make prices of things keep increasing. So if we want to check inflation, this will not help us check inflation. It will also keep affecting the exchange rate because we still keep importing. There's a whole lot of opaqueness. The oil and gas sector is the most opaque sector that we have ever seen within the civil society. It's something that we have been crying is not transparent, is not open. How much are we importing this produce? How much are we then selling it? How much is subsidy? It was only late last week that the GMD of NNPCL said that we are owing 6 point. So how did that 6 point something billion dollars come about? So those details are things that are affecting. So not just the common people. So right now, not just the common man that is complaining. You have average Nigerians now saying, wow, we now have to sell our cars or we have to pack our cars. It will have a spiral effect in the economy.
So, Lord K, you've heard from different reactions of people in Nigeria about the hardship that is hitting everybody. Fuel price, they are talking about 900 and something, but obviously you can't get it at that price. Prices has gone beyond 1,100 to 1,300 at different locations. So, and it is biting hard. They call it 400% increase, but I'll tell you, so it's quite over 500% increase. But all the same, let's start with the issue of Ajaero's arrest, as labor union has declared the highest form of alert to all his organs, and not just his organs, but Nigerian. Do you think that the NLC can actually prevail on the government to come down on this very fuel price and also the release of their Presido, Joe Ajaero? What are your thoughts on this?
So, Lotte, you use YouTube to respond.
Our people on Zoom. But let's get down to what we have. We heard about Sowore challenging the NLC. Why haven't you shut down Nigeria over persistent harassment of labor leaders? Well, our take on this is that Sowore is of his opinion, and of course is calling for revolution now, and the fearless October, which we are waiting to see how he manages to do that even while he is outside the country. But of course, we know that well-meaning Nigerians could on their own protests. So I think we are having signals that our people are back on the Zoom, and of course we'll be calling Lord K to give us his opinion on what he thinks about the DSS, moving around, arresting people over issues of family issues, because the one of Ajaero, as we learned, has to deal with a petition that came from his colleagues. And we have also heard about the invading of the Serap's office in Abuja over their comments on the fuel increase hike. Does that mean that anybody who talks anything about the fuel increase in Nigeria will be chased around by DSS? What is your thought on this, Loke?
Good evening, fellow Nigerians, Obidient around the world, and my Zoom and studio panelists. Well, the situation of the country has become a dire straight position right now. Why did I say that? Because now the DSS, they have now become is it what do you call it?
They are taking over the police work.
No, not even police. Vigilante. They are vigilante members now. They are as common as vigilante force right now, because now anybody that has any issues, even with family or whatever, they are now calling on DSS to attend. They've abandoned the police because the police, they don't recognize them anymore, or they are not as effective as they should be anymore. Now, the new DSS chief that was appointed the other day, is he trying to make a stance, or is he trying to make himself known by doing all these unnecessary arrests? Why are they behaving like this? Is it the fact that he wants to impress his new boss, that, oh, he can be active, he can be relied on, or he can be a trusted member of his cabinet? But that's on one side. Now, my own spin towards this issue of arrest or no arrest is the fact that I want to know that is it when anything happens? Is it that when anything happens to the NLC or the TUC or so, is that when they call for people to be alert that there might be a protest, that they want to shut down the country? Why were these people not available when Nigerians went on the bad governance protest? Why were they not available? So now they want Nigerians to back them up. They want to shut the country because the leader has been arrested. The leader that was not trusted by anybody, that went in, negotiated, shook hands, had salad and everything at Aso Rock, came out smiling. What do you expect? You have eaten with the devil. What do you expect right now? They have no respect for you anymore as the NLC leader. They have no respect for you anymore. The next thing, you having vigilante arresting Ajaero. Anyway, they find you. I don't see any reason why they should not be calling. They have failed Nigerians. So is the music. Except if we want to be the economy right, Nigeria should do something. The government is scared. The government is scared that, okay, now that the students have all united that they want to come out on the 15th, which is about 2 weeks to the October 1st protest as well coming up, the fearless protest coming up. So there is serious tension going on in the country, and that is something that the government is scared of right now. But then their actions is not showing any sign of, okay, let's appease our countrymen or women and see that we sort things out. No, instead, they are going out, arresting people, triggering most people to come out to do what they are not expected to do at all.
Yeah, so this, my other question to you, Loke, is this by the video that we just watched of Bola Tinubu addressing Nigerians in China and telling them that he took a very bold and a very hard decision concerning fuel price in Nigeria to be able to make Nigerians feel better. Do you think Tinubu meant for Nigerians to actually buy fuel PMS at the rate of 1,000+ now for their own growth or for Nigerians? Do you think it's really for Nigerians' interest, given the fact that that has brought serious hardship in the country, that people are dying and falling by the roadsides in Nigeria now?
I don't know where you got that figure of 1,000 naira, because the person I spoke to yesterday in Port Harcourt said they were buying petrol there for 1,500 for a liter. So how is this going to help Nigerians? He was in China the other day saying, oh, he has taken the bold and hard step. How is this a bold and hard step? You are doing this for your own pockets. You are telling people, oh, subsidy is gone, whereas you are still using the same subsidy to enrich yourself. How is that a bold and hard step? This is somebody that I believe trained himself as an accountant. An accountant. This is now a disgrace to that qualification. If it's true that I actually went through that discipline, you cannot come out, even an accountant without qualification will not take the decisions this man is actually dealing with right now. They will not. Why? Because this is somebody that actually bought his certificates and bought his way through all his life. He came out say, grab it, run away with it, snatch it. He has snatched the power. Now, what does he do? He's hopeless, helpless, and doing nothing that is sensible right now. Going around the world, borrowing money. This is somebody that also now has applied for $2 billion loan. Right now, as we're speaking, that's going on right now. What's he going to do with it? If all the money this man has actually, borrowed since he came into office, the money is spent for the yacht, the money is spent for the jihad expenses, the money has spent for the vice president, the money has spent on holidays. If this man had actually invested this into if he has invested this into agriculture in the country, Nigerians will not be talking about food anymore as we speak today. But that is not his concern. That is not his concern. Nigerians never voted for him. He snatched the power and he doesn't know what to do with it. He's punishing everybody. Gentlemen and ladies, all I'm saying is now is the time. Now is the time. Let's come together as one. Let's unite to make sure something is done about this. Let's unite to make sure something is done about this. You cannot be harassing people around town and arresting people around town. Nobody's free to talk or move anymore. The press has been gagged. What is happening in that country? What is happening there? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that the call for NLC call the organs to be on alert for a strike or a protest is needful, because we believe that NLC is one of the strongest organs that do have that kind of handshake with the government. And I believe since they had said that Chief Bola Tinubu did not do well on his agreement to sustain the price of PMS in Nigeria, that they may as well be taking it off. So I think this is the right time for them to take. But before we take on Mr. Tony, let's quickly hear what another reaction from one of our, I think is Showomi, who was on Channels Television and has a lot to say. But just let's take some few sound bites from Showomi. We'll be right back.
There's going to be a call out. I'm sure it won't take long before Labour joins them. And by the grace of God Almighty, we will all empty into the street and ensure that go they will. If they will not listen appropriately, if they think that anybody is going to allow them.
Do you think that this government is not listening?
No, I think this government is sheer irresponsible and incompetent. Nobody has time for pussyfooting and powdering their face anymore. What do you think they are doing? Do you know what's going on in the country? Do you know how many lives have been lost as a result of their useless policies that doesn't make sense? What kind of person who calls himself an accountant would not know that a nation that is so export dependent, you got to manage your exchange rate, how by crook or by means, or whatever means? What kind of person comes onto a chair? He has not even looked at the books. He doesn't even know what is there. He doesn't say, it's gone, it's gone.
But the president had told Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, he is a reformer that is trying to take a painful route in reforming the economy and the nation.
Thank you. For a man who's using our money to be buying new jets, for a man who's buying Escalades bulletproof, for a man who's spending money like he's going out of fashion, is that how Deng Xiaoping managed China before he got to Xi Jinping? Is that how China? He's not reforming anything. He's just wasting everybody's time and creating chaos. And he's trying to get national anger to get to a point. It will be a boiling point. Let me tell you, my dear friend, everywhere you have seen a tipping point where people have just said enough, it has always been one senseless government policy after the other, with their lackeys coming to say, oh, it's okay. You are forgetting that we're talking about human lives here. We're talking about people's hunger. We're talking about the cost of living of the Nigerian people. What is their excuse? You are telling us now that, oh, NNPC that can say they're bringing a profit of, is it 3.7 trillion as their profit, at the same time, this is madness. This is sheer arrant madness. And we have been screaming about this NNPC since forever. I recall very vividly in 2019 when we were.
Well, that is reactions coming from people. Nigeria has gotten to the breaking point as hardship is hitting so hard in Nigeria. So let me quickly get the opinion of Tony. So Tony, you've heard about what DSS is doing. You've heard about the alert, red alert call from the NLC, and of course we've seen DSS again going after people who are talking about the fuel hike which is set up, and it seems like we always look at whether DSS is actually doing the secret police work that they are supposed to do, or they are right now, whether under their new DG trying to focus more on the people of Nigeria who wish to speak up about the hardship in the country. What are your thoughts?
for having me. Welcome to the program, wherever you are. We should not be surprised whatsoever. I would suppose that the new DG, remember that the previous DG was fired, according to reports. So this new one is trying to, I presume, impress his boss. If not so, why is he going after people without explaining their what offense or offenses they've committed? I mean, that's not the right way to do things. You just grab somebody, whisk him away to an unknown place. You're not telling anybody what offense the person has committed. This is really unbecoming of a state agency whose responsibility is to protect the nation. Bandits and terrorists are ravaging the country all over the place. And they've become incapable, really, impotent of doing something about it. Can you imagine? Just think about it. Tinubu is dispatching the chief of to Zamfara or Sokoto, northwest area. To do what? So he doesn't have subordinates who can do the job. Does that guarantee that that job will be done by dispatching somebody who will be protected massively? Maybe won't even know what is going on because he's surrounded by security. So the security architecture in this country is messed up. It's messed up because politics is interfering in the professional implementation by these security officers. Just leave them alone. Don't use them to achieve your personal goals and aims. Why are you harassing people? I mean, if people say that they are going to protest, why do you go about arresting them before the protest? Why are you afraid of? Does it make sense? Which universe do we come from? That we don't do things like other developing countries. I mean, not even developed countries, but other developing countries. How they do things, how they organize themselves. Why do you go about arresting people for no just cause? It doesn't make sense. It's abhorrent. It's unacceptable. But of course, what can we do? We don't have any power to stop them doing whatever they want to do because they have the guns. So here we are. A state government is using the armed forces and the state security agencies for their own political benefit. That's it. That's the way it has been. Until we reform this system we have in this country, we're going nowhere. Tinubu can go to China, he can go to Germany, he can go to France and play all his gimmicks. He's bringing money for development. All are just facade. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. I think somebody described him as a bookkeeper trying to run the government. Accounting is basically bookkeeping. That's the point the person is trying to make. You know, sounds like he doesn't understand simple economics. Why is it that we have to suffer before things get right. Why? Why do Nigerian leaders ask us to sacrifice so much and promise that things will get better, which he never does? He never does. And it's quite literally inexcusable. Now they can not only Ajaero, they are looking after Sowore, they are looking after David Sunday. Basically, they're just looking after anybody.
Yeah, Mr. Tony, our time is running so fast, but I want to give you this last question. Do you just like the question coming from Omoyele Sowore, who is actually challenging the NLC, and the challenge is given the NLC is for them to take action against shutting down Nigeria. Do you support the NLC to shut down the economy using their labor, because they have a way of reaching the presidency and have discussions with them as concern the pricing of the PMS and the others. Sowore has his own people, but their leadership doesn't probably have those kind of consultation or discussion with the federal government. So looking at it from the other hand, that NLC always had that kind of handshake with the government. Don't you think that it's about time the NLC uses their power, not just for their own workers, for the entire nation, to make sure that we come to an understanding with the Tinubu-led administration in the coming down of the price of PMS to reduce the hardship in Nigeria? Just 1 minute, please.
Supposed to be, you not only should be concerned about your workers, you should be concerned about the general population, Nigerian people. Your workers are part of the Nigerian people. Your workers go to the same market. They buy the same PMS, the same price. Why do you have to just focus on workers? You are labor, for goodness sake. Your interest supposed to encompass the entire working class people, not just people in government, people that's artisans, that are self-employed. They are workers too. Help them. Everybody's suffering. The 70,000 naira minimum wage you accepted, look at it now. We are all in the same boat, and we are hesitating to join the protest, to organize, to be the lead in this protest. You should be the lead so that others will follow. Forget about your workers. We are all workers, one way or the other. So they should come out and participate and even lead any protest regarding this hardship in this country.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. We would have taken more of where you're headed. We seriously understand that, but we are seriously out of time. So I want to thank you, Tony Oji, for joining us and your contributions. Lord K, same, we want to appreciate you. And Mr. Bassi, who had always made out all their time every day to join us weekdays, Monday to Friday, to analyze the things happening in Nigeria. And for you viewers out there, thank you so much, Obidient. Thank you, active citizens. Thank you for tuning in at this very hour. And of course, I will want to assure you that we'll continue to be upright in bringing you what is happening in Nigeria. Yoruba Union also calls for the resignation of Chibola Tinubu, solicits support for Fearless in October protest over the hardship fuel pump price hike, and that's why we are calling on the NLC to use his discretionary powers with his organs across Nigeria to engage the federal government to actually bring this very fuel price to reduce the hardship in Nigeria. We believe the NLC can do it, not just for the workers like Tony has emphasized, but the entire nation. So thank you very much, viewers. And of course, go to comment section. Tell us what your take is in. Do you think that this very notion geared or established by Chief Bola Tinubu that is doing Nigeria a favor by increasing the fuel price for hardship to be in Nigeria and for them to enjoy later? What are your thoughts? Do you think is it a good thing happening over now? Thank you very much. Once again, until tomorrow when you come your way again, we'll be bringing you another thing on the making, which is the Labour Party, which has withdrawn the nomination, automatic presidential nomination of ticket to His Excellency Pete Obi, that is coming from Abure and his cohorts. But this is really laughable. But we'll be talking more about this tomorrow as all the panelists will be joining us to have a discussion on how laughable it is for Labour Party to talk about withdrawal, which Peter Obi has not solicited for in any way. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow when we come back again, bye for now.